everyone, and welcome to Soul Reaper's item tier list. I'm the Mangoose. I don't know why I'm introing this, but I am. So what we're going to go through today and do is just take a look at all these items, throw them on this tier list. What needs buffed? What needs changed? What's A tier? What's S tier? All that good stuff. We have the expert here, Soul Reaper. How you doing, man?
Thank you, Mangoose. Thank you. Yeah, let's just get into it. It's just basically got to go through which items should be nerfed or buffed, or items that are top tier and whatnot, and how they should be basically built, I guess, if you will. But anyways, just get into it. So first item, this is the tier 2 lifesteal for physical. I mean, I think it's pretty balanced. I mean, it's lifesteal, right?
Yeah, it's good. People build it. Pretty much every jungler will build this and on their way to a vamp sword.
Yeah, it's just fine. It's lifesteal though instead of omnivamp, which I think makes it pretty balanced, so you can't heal off abilities or anything like that. So I think it's pretty fair. Archon Gospel, where would you put this?
Archon Gospel, that's one that's heavily dependent on the hero. I would put it A tier.
I would agree.
But S tier for Shinbi.
I would agree. It's very character dependent. Not a bad item, just you get lifesteal. If you don't use it, you don't really get any value out of it. I do think it would be better if there was more lifesteal items in the game, but as it's the only magical lifesteal item in the game at the moment, I think if there was more, it could be, definitely be S tier maybe. But as the only one, I think it's completely fine in the A tier. Artificial gravity inductor. Do you know what this item does?
Fuck, is that the one that slows people? I don't
yeah, it's an active slow and reduces well, it's an active attack speed slow and reduces physical power by 20% for 3 seconds.
I keep meaning to build this on Kwong and then I forget every game. I think it's a good item against a duo ADC comp. Like if they have double ADCs, you could wreck them if they're close together. But yeah, I think it's a good item. It's just hardly ever used.
So the thing with this item, one, it reduces power, which is cool, I guess. But it does, so attack speed slows stack. So if you have like ice gloves, for example, with this item, you can double stack the attack speed slow, which is kind of good. I've never personally built this item. I think it costs a little too much. It's 3,000. For an active, when you could just buy ice gloves for cheaper that also slows attack speed. So like I would put it in B tier personally, but I just think the effect is good. The cost should just be reduced a little bit.
Yeah, I think there's a few items like that. I will say what I really want to do is use this with Berserker's Helm and some of the other attack speed slow items to like render Revenant's reload to where it looks like the old Windows loading icon. Just takes him forever to actually get another shot off.
I've actually wanted to test to see if there was a cap on the debuff with like ice gloves, alloy crossbow, Berserker's Helm, and this, and see how low you could actually get somebody, because you can get like 0.9 attack speed off somebody or something like that if they were to all stack, which would be pretty hilarious. I think, you hit like a twin blast with that and he's just this guy's, you think he's Revenant,
Bang, bang, bang.
Turn that triple tap into a one tap,
Well, I mean, we can do that. We can hop into a custom match sometime and test that out.
I'm down to do that right after this, honestly. That sounds funny. Okay. Bells of Purification, is that what this is called? Yeah, Bells of Purification. This is the attack speed magical item that reduces protections, like magical protections that stacks.
I think it's terrible.
Yeah, this item's kind of bad. I think it needs a buff, honestly.
Yeah. It's a meme item. I built it on my machine gun Muriel build, but that's just, again, a meme build. So I don't think any kind of serious build uses this. I mean, the downside of it is, if you want to build magical power, you're usually building for burst damage. And trying to get several basic attacks, getting in range to get off enough basic attacks to make it meaningful for when you hit your burst is pretty difficult in a team fight. Maybe Bellica can use this, maybe, but I think still why not spend on more magical power for Bellica?
Yeah, I think the problem with it is that it's an attack speed item, but your auto attacks don't scale off attack speed. Like they don't scale off magical power, and it doesn't give you any physical power. So like, it just seems counterintuitive. At least in the way the current game is.
Mm-hmm.
I would personally like to just see this item as a physical item and just reduce physical procs. I think would be like a good change to it. Just give it like 50 physical power and reduce physical procs, and I think it would actually be a good item.
Yeah,
Kind
I
of
can
like
see that for sure.
Kind of like executioner's might.
I made a video about trap builds a long time ago, and this was the number one item I pointed out as this is a trap. Don't build this. Don't think you're going to be Gideon rocking the bells of purification and rocking people's worlds. It's not going to happen.
Yeah, on paper it doesn't seem that bad, especially on like a wraith or something like that. Like it seems like it would be pretty decent, but it is a terrible item. Berserker's Helm. I think this item's S tier.
Yes. Oh, I'm so happy. I'm so happy you said that because yes, I have been building this lately, and holy shit, is it good.
The only thing that it doesn't give you is HP, which some of the other tank items do, which is the reason it doesn't need to be nerfed, I think. But I think if they adjust some of the other items in like the tank items, you will see this item picked up more. We'll get to those items when we get to them, but I do think this item is actually really good. Just some of the other items need to come down for it to really get its like shine,
But for 2,800 gold, it's a steal. You get so much out of this.
The only thing it doesn't give is health. That's about it. And
Yeah.
there's really only one item that I'm really referring to when I say like if that item was not built, you would build this. And I mean, it's ice gloves. We'll get there when we get there, though.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that busted item. Blacksmith scissors. Do you know what this item does?
Yeah, it's the tenacity item. I built it on Kwang.
Yeah, this item's really good. It might even get a nerf, to be honest.
Oh,
I don't
you
know
think so?
I don't know if it. The fact that it gives you the regen on top of the tenacity and is the only tenacity item in the game, I think makes it really strong. The only problem with it is that it is magic defense, and there's already so many magic defense items that are good, like Pendant of Refinement. That's the only problem I really see with the item, but I think the item's a little strong, stronger than it should be, in my opinion.
I 100% agree. That's the only thing that drives me away from buying it as like a first pickup is because it's magical defense. If it was physical defense, 100% I'll be buying this first item every time.
I just don't think for the price, it's like one of the cheapest items. It gets 2,400, I think, and you just get 10% health recovery every 30 seconds, basically, when you get hit by any CC. I think it should be a hard CC specifically, so it shouldn't proc on slows. Maybe that would be like a good nerf to it. Without really like adjusting any of the stats or anything, but I think the item should be like 2,600 personally. I think it's a little too cheap for what it gives.
I agree. You just don't see a lot of people building it, which is a shame because it's a great item.
I agree. Bleeding Amulet.
Oh, that's a tier 2, right?
Yeah, this is the tier 2 Witch's Shoes that gives you like a weaker version of the passive, basically, for 900 gold.
I think this is either S tier or needs a nerf.
S tier needs a nerf. I'd say it's S tier. I wouldn't say it needs a nerf. The only reason being it doesn't scale at all off power, and it doesn't give you the movement speed increase. I do think they should adjust a lot of the tier 1 and tier 2 items though, based off of like different stats. So like the egg, for example, which is 800 gold, is equal to 3 of the trees, like the tree branches, in power and price. Like there's no difference on them. The only difference is how many slots it takes. I think that should be adjusted a little bit to where like if you have 3 trees, it takes up more slots, but maybe you get an extra 5 power or something like that. And I think this item fits in that same like vein of it's the same price basically as those items, but it has like a passive on it, right? Which I think just makes it a little better. And why I think it would be like in the S tier as opposed to the A tier.
I mean, I only ever see this when building Witch's Shoes, but it's on the way to Witch's Shoes, which I think is a fucking fantastic item.
I've seen a few people go like teardrop and then they go this and then they skip it into another item, which I don't know why you would do that. I think it's kind of bad to do that, but I don't know.
Teardrop has kind of gone down in my eyes, as I used to think that was the absolute #1 best item in the entire game, but it's kind of dropped in popularity for me at least.
Yeah, I think it's the lack of power on it really that kind of makes it kind of meh. Next item, Blue Heart. What do you think of this item? You don't even know what it does, do you?
No, I know what it does. Blue heart,
Okay.
it gives you a spell shield, right?
Yes.
But it could go into the category of what the hell is even that, because nobody ever builds this.
Yeah, I think it actually gets taken by witch issues too. I don't know if that's a bug or not, but I'm pretty sure it gets taken by witch issues.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I think
It's
it's
just
it's too expensive. It's 3,400 gold.
exactly.
It's too expensive. That's really if it was 3K gold, I think it would be good. But it's just 3,400. If I'm spending 3,400, I'm getting Toto. You know, like I'm not
Exactly.
I'm not spending 3,400 gold on a spell shield. It's just not it's not viable. I don't think for that reason.
It's got good stats on it too, but like again, it has magical defense on it too. If you replace that, like it's got magical power and cooldown reduction. If you replace that magical defense with like pen,
I
or
was gonna say
magical penetration,
give
or
it
something like that.
give it 10 pen. I think that would be a fantastic change.
Yeah.
I think that'd be fantastic.
You want to put it into the needs changed, or you want to keep it at B tier there?
I think it's good in B tier because I think you can have the protections on it, but I think if they did change it, it would still go up to A tier. I think either one you could reduce the price or give it pen, and I think it would be good.
Okay.
I would expect them to either go the reduction as opposed to the pen choice, just because I think they still want it to be like a hybrid item. If you wanted to play like Kwong, for example, like with like a hybrid build, but I think it should just be the price reduced more than anything. Bone Crusher. What do you think of this?
Isn't that the upgraded smite?
Yes, it's tier 3.
I mean, it's fine.
I think it's S tier.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, it's really strong. The only reason I would say it's S tier is because it increases magical jungler clear. So like Sevarog, Shimby, stuff like that is really strong. You can also smite players, which applies like a slow and does 240 true damage over 3 seconds, which could be pretty strong. I was using this earlier on Countess, and I went at first item, like didn't even go first item, just upgraded this immediately, and it actually felt really good because you clear the camps in like one rotation of abilities, and because you get the extra auto attack power because it gives you physical and magical, you're like very easy to clear the camps. You also get more mana regen from it. On auto attacks, when you hit camps, you get 14 instead of 7, which actually helps a lot on Countess.
I think I underestimate this item because the smite isn't dependent on the level of your smite; it's dependent on the player level. So I hardly ever level up this item because there's just doesn't seem to be any reason to. I also don't play a lot of magical damage junglers, so
I'm also a mid lane, so you know, take that with how you will. I think it's really good, but I still have to test a little bit more of it being first item. But I know late game, it's still like, I mean, you're building this late game on everybody if you're trying to win a game, you know.
Yeah.
So I feel like it has to be in the S tier. Brightstone.
ooh,
This is a weird one. Where do you think it is?
it seems like such a great item, but I find myself hardly ever building it. I went through a phase where I would always build Brightstone first, but it depends on how aggressive you want to be, I guess. If you're going to be ultra aggressive, then why take this instead of damage? Is kind of my thing. I think it's great for offlaners to, like, you know, you get that regen for your health and mana, but it's kind of the thing of why go defensive when you can just kill the other guy? Like, that's the best way to not die, is to just kill the enemy offlaner, and this doesn't help you kill the enemy offlaner unless it's just a long drawn out battle.
I think it's fine. Like, I think it's like A tier. The only reason I would say it's A tier is because it builds into other items that are good, not necessarily because you're just going to pick this up and you're going to be like, I'm going to hold this. The thing with the passive is that even when you build those other items, you're still getting the passive from this, which can be nice. It's more of just like a nice passive. It's 400 gold. You get 10% regen whenever you level up health and mana. It's not super impactful, but I think it's fine. I think it could be 350 maybe, like energy reflux. I think would, if they did that, I think it could be fine. But I still think it's fine either way. Just A tier.
I agree.
And we'll go to the next one. I forget what this item is even called. this broken stopwatch?
Oh yeah, you talk about the stopwatch?
Yeah, is this broken stopwatch?
Yeah, it's called Broken Watch.
Okay, okay. I thought it was stopwatch. I never
For
see this
some
item
reason,
built.
it's a digital watch. You would think in this game it would be an analog.
I've never seen this built. Well, very
Oh,
rarely I see it built, I should
uh,
say.
it's part of the recommended build for deckers, so you see deckers run this a lot.
Oh, well, that's probably I'd never see a decker played. So
Um, I built it when I first started playing, like all the time, and I thought it was great. After a while, it's just you realize that people just run out of the heal. Uh, the heal is not big at all. You take this for the active, really, and it just doesn't give you enough. The 5% move speed is kind of nice, but everything else about this item is just kind of terrible. Um, I think it needs changed,
you think it needs
or
changed?
either buffed or changed. I think it needs buffed, yeah. But I would put it in the buff category.
The problem I have with this item is that why would I ever build this when I could build Miter? Just get an instant shield as opposed to a delay while also having the passive for Miter, where you give your teammates protections. I just never see a reason to buy this item, really. It is cheap, 2,300 gold. It's cheap, but I just think it needs something. Either increase the heal, maybe increase the base stats potentially, something like that. I never see it built.
If it was an instant heal, I think it would be fine.
Do you think they would have to reduce the amount if they did that?
I don't think they would. I don't think they would. It's just not a big enough heal to be meaningful. But if you made it instant, then you could combine it with Miter so that you're healing behind that shielding and saving somebody. The way it is right now, if you save somebody with this, it's because they were taking ticking damage from Spear's Teardrop or something, and you just happen to push them over the edge. And like the way team fights roll out, by the time you know that you need to hit this, and by the time it actually heals, people will be dead or they will have survived. And this is not going to do anything about either.
I agree. On to Alloy Crossbow. This item is insane. This item should be nerfed.
Yeah, people don't give this one enough credit.
This
it's
item,
like what you were talking about with Bells. Bells not having any physical power. Well, this does.
yeah, this is just like when you finish this item, you clear the archers at a higher execute threshold than the actual execute threshold when you have it stacked. So like if it would take 3 autos and then the third auto is in the execute threshold, with this item when you have it stacked, it takes 2 autos and it doesn't even get into the execute threshold. This item is just very strong. It's just attack speed. You can't be boxed if you have it. If I have it and the other ADC doesn't, I just win that trade at 1 item, which is very, very strong. If you're playing like Revenant, you wouldn't really build it on Revenant because it doesn't have crit, but like if you're playing like Murdoch or something and you're boxing a Revenant, that Revenant reload now takes longer because it reduces attack speed on top of the fact that I'm getting more power, which is just incredibly strong. Very, very good item.
I don't know why I don't see this built more often, but yeah, it's a great item.
I think people
I don't
just
build it myself because I don't play ADCs, but
I think people just build crit. I think they just prefer crit, but this item is incredibly strong.
Yeah. It doesn't matter how hard somebody's hitting if they're hitting way slower.
Agreed. Chain of Unity.
Oh man, it seems so good in theory, but
nah, I hate this
anytime
item.
I've used it, it's just not good.
This item is busted.
You think so?
Is giga busted.
Okay. I don't think it's that good.
People don't build it.
I haven't gotten good use out of it, I guess.
In terms of like ranked and stuff, maybe it's not as good, but in terms of like competitive play, this item is insane. You'll have like your soul laner, for example, pick it up last item, or your support, like you'll have both, so you'll have 2 people on a leash on your team, and it just makes it so much harder to kill them, especially if they have like a Muriel or something, where that Muriel is not only shielding herself, she's shielding the person that you're hitting, and now the person that you're hitting now gets even more reduced damage on top of the shield, so you do even less damage to the shield. It's just incredibly strong.
Okay.
Same thing if you put your like jungler on a leash, it kind of lets your jungler build a little bit more damage while still being as tanky as they need to be in the front line to create space. It's a very strong item.
See, I think my attitude is coming from the lower ranks / quick match, where when you put this on your ADC as a support or something, they look at that as permission to do whatever. Like, oh,
That's
that's
a
immunity on me. I can now face check the enemy team without worrying about it.
that's a fair point. I'll put it S tier. Actually, that's a very fair point. I do think it could be like a little more expensive, but I don't think it needs like a statistical nerf or anything like that. Just like a little bit of a price increase, because 25 is like incredibly cheap for what it actually gives you.
Okay.
It is good to note though that the damage that you do take when you link somebody is true damage. So if I hit you and then the link hits somebody else, the damage that the link is doing to that person is true damage. That is like,
I did not know that.
That is good to know. You can't like, it doesn't get extra mitigated on the person that it hits. I don't even know what this item is. Hold on, I have to look at it. Cloud Storm.
Cloud Storm, that's a good one, man. I like that one.
I've never built this item. I don't play Kalari, and I know that this is a Kalari item. I've never seen anybody else build it outside of Kalari. That would explain why I don't know why what it does.
I'll build it on Kwang.
Build it on Kwang, really?
Yeah, just for mainly for like those times where I mistime my E, so that I don't immune like a Murdoch knockback or something like that. Then I could just activate this and run them down.
Okay, I could see that.
But and it's just nice to have that extra move speed for 40 seconds sometimes, just to get to a fight faster. It's not just useful for running down ADCs; it's useful for all sorts of things. And but it's mainly for the power, the penetration, and the cooldown reduction. If I want to go with a power Kwang build, and also for Kwang, he has such limited items. If you want to build a high damage Kwang build, because attack speed does nothing for him, this becomes far more attractive in that circumstance. I don't think it's a great item by any chance, but I think it's pretty good on Kwang.
Where would you put it? Because like I said, I've never built this item before, so I don't really have an opinion on it.
I would put a B tier because I don't see anybody else using it.
That makes sense. Cultist.
Ooh, Cultist.
This is an interesting one. I'm actually curious as to your opinion on this one.
I really like Cultist, actually. It's because, you know what? I really need to test this. But from the way it reads, is that anybody that's below 50% health around you is going to increase your damage output, even if you're attacking somebody that's at full health. Because of the way it's worded, it says if a nearby enemy hero's health is below 50%, the hero's dealt damage is increased by 15%. The other thing I like about Cultist Blow is it gives you early magical pin, which is really nice in early game. I like this on Countess. I like this on Shinbi. Every once in a while, I'll build it on Bellica or Gideon, but I really like Cultist Blow. I would put it in A tier.
Yeah. So I actually have a different understanding of the item, the way it reads at least. I read it as the person that is below 50% takes more damage as opposed to me doing more damage. Does that make sense?
Okay.
That's how I read it, at least. Like there's an item in Smite that's similar to this, where they're like below a certain threshold, you get increased damage against that person. But I'm also not sure if that is how the item works. If that also means that your team does increase damage to that person as well, which would change my opinion drastically on the item. Obviously, I do think it's an S tier item. I think it's very good. I do think the flat pen is strong, but there's not enough flat pen options to supplement it as like a flat pen build, for example, where you just go like 3 flat pen items. But I do think the item is very strong. I'm not exactly sure how the passive works. You do more damage. How you do more damage doesn't really matter. You're doing more damage, you know.
You know, the way it's actually written, if you read it literally the way it's written, the person that's below 50%,
it sounds like they would,
15% damage.
So I don't know. It's a confusing item. It also doesn't tell you how nearby they have to be. So I'm actually not even sure the radius on this, how close it is. I'm pretty sure it's about the same as Fruit of Greed, which is more than your auto attack range, but I'm not actually like 100% sure because I haven't tested it in a training match or anything. Because you can only test it on heroes, and you know, I don't have any friends, so.
Well, you got the FTM crew. We'll jump in there with Jedi and test this out.
I am so down. Arcana, the tier 2 magical lifesteal. What do you think of this?
I mean, it's okay. It builds into Archon's Gospel.
I think it's B tier personally.
Yeah.
I think it's worse than the physical because there's only one option you have when you build it, and that's Archon Gospel, which is already not like a fantastic item. It's good, but it's not like it's not OP or anything. Whereas I think this item is like you have one option. The physical, you can go in the emergency treatment, you can go in the vamp sword. You have multiple choices. This one,
yeah,
you're very limited, and I think it's just less value because it is only magical. It means you only get it off of abilities, and I mean, how often are you healing off your abilities unless you're Shimby? But I think it's just, I don't think it needs to be buffed. I think there just needs to be more options. Building out of it.
With that. I think that's just across the board, though. Everything they just need more options. Period.
Yeah, that's very valid. Very valid. Decima Cannon. So this is pen. Just 40% pen applies a slow and you hit with abilities. I mean, pretty self-explanatory. I think it's a good item.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's a top tier item. Actually, I think it's probably S tier. I would say there's a lack of characters that really benefit from it because Chainsaw is so strong. Mm-hmm. You're not really getting to the point where you need 40% pen on junglers because you're not building full damage. But if you are like Kalari or like late game, if I'm playing like Fang Mao or something, I'll pick this up last item or like, fifth item all the time. You just never really get to that point in the game. But if you do, fantastic item.
Yeah. Like you said, though, it just gets overshadowed by Chainsaw, so.
Yeah. It's just because you don't go full damage in the jungle. If you did, it would be a lot better. Because in jungle, you just build tanky. So if you're tanky, you have too much HP to really get value out of Chainsaw. So that's why you go Decima Cannon at least. Energy Reflux. Oh my god.
people will swear by this item.
I think this item is terrible.
I have worked with it for a little bit because everybody kept talking about how good it was, but again, it's the thing where if I use all my mana, the other person theoretically should be dead, and then I can just go back.
I agree. I have the exact same thought process. And you could only stack it off enemy players, so you have to be poking to use it in the first place. And I feel like if the fight is already over, like you're out of mana when the fight is over. If you're not, somebody's doing something wrong, whether that's you or the enemy team or like your teammates, or you're not backing correctly, something like that. You're not getting mana fly. For some reason, you're out of mana and you shouldn't be. I think this item is terrible, to be honest.
Maybe if Faye wasn't stupid overpowered, it might be good on her. But like, again, you just kill him with the Faye, so why would you need this? But like, I could see where like Seek and Destroy or the Flower Blossom thing that Faye does, but where it does constant ticks of damage, if it gives you a stack every time that ticks on somebody, it could be really good. But again, the Fae is just so overpowered that why would you need more mana? Because if you use all your mana, they're dead.
Yeah, I would agree. It gives 0 power too. 350 gold for 0 power doesn't feel good. And you are limited until one item when you build it, and that is another item I don't think is very good in the first place. But yeah, I don't know. That's even if you finish it. Otherwise, you're just selling it late game, in which case you're taking a net loss. I think this item is terrible. But I see so many people try to tell me to build it and try to tell me that it's good, and I cannot. This item is bad. Do not build it.
Same here.
Do not build it. All right, we get the gemstones. We'll do like the small ones first, and then the big ones, if that's okay.
Okay, they all suck except for green and yellow. So
yeah, green is like it should be nerfed. I don't think yellow needs to be nerfed, especially since they're adding the word slot on the next patch. But green is like that shit's busted.
It is.
Red and blue, I think, are B tier. Greystone, I think, should be buffed or changed. I don't know what they would change it to, but it needs to be adjusted in some way. It's just, it's really bad.
Yeah, that charge, I don't know why I assumed that people would be immune during that charge, but they are not. I caught a sparrow today with Kwang's tether, and I think it surprised both of us.
It's also,
she was in the middle of the dash.
It's weird that you can only dash, like it dashes horizontally. It doesn't dash based off where you're looking, which I think would be a good buff to it. If it just like if you're looking up, you dash straight up, something like that would be fine. At the very least, give it the same power as Redstone. Yes, you get the attack speed from it, but you also can't flash in any direction. So one of those two things would, I think, be a good buff for it. But it's just it's a weird item. I don't really understand the point of it when you could just buy Redstone, if not Greenstone.
The only time it was good is when they, whenever you were able
Swap
to blink
'em.
and then go buy this. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. That was busted. I'm glad they took that out.
Yeah.
All right, upgraded ones. Yellowstone probably should be nerfed. I think the main
3 wards is too many wards,
I think.
or do you think the stats?
Well, you can have 4 wards at the same time on the map. I think if you
Okay,
place multiple wards, they should start despawning after a certain amount. I think it should be like 2 wards. If you have 2 wards on the map, it should despawn, or 3 maybe. Like 2 of this and then 1 regular. If you place the 3rd ward, it despawns the first one from this. I think would be a good change. Because being able to just have 4 wards on the map is a little insane, especially with the ward slot coming in. Every bush is going to be warded. If you're not carrying 3 wards, you're trolling, and I think it should be nerfed for that reason. Redstone. I actually think the upgraded redstone's pretty good.
I wouldn't know.
It's a lot of power. It's like 50 power, which is quite a lot for like just a physical item.
Yeah.
It's not great. I mean, I'm gonna be honest. The greenstone is still, it's about the same tier. If I see my ADC sell the green and upgrade red instead, I'm fine with that late game. But I feel like they're similar tier. It depends on if you want damage or if you want survivability. I think greenstone I don't think is particularly that strong late game. Greystone still just god awful. If you have this, you're trolling. You don't even need it to hit attack speed cap, which would be the only point to have this item, I think, is because it gives you a bunch of attack speed. But like, if you're building the attack speed build anyways, you're already at the max attack speed, so I don't see the point to ever build this item.
I'm gonna be perfectly honest. I've built this so few times that I didn't even know it gave attack speed.
You give you 40%. But again, you just don't need it because you're already at the attack speed. If you're going jewelry box and alloy crossbow, you'll already be at the cap. So just like, it makes no sense to really get extra attack speed from this. For the 15 power that it gives, it's just not worth it. In bluestone, I actually think bluestone upgrade's really strong. Like, really strong. It's one of the only magical power items that gives you more than 80 power, which is the only reason it's strong, because they buff the scaling on mages. So like late game, sell your greenstone for this and upgrade it. Don't be a coward and buy smite.
Oh, when are they changing that? It should be soon, right?
Next patch. They said they were addressing it next patch, thankfully.
Okay, good.
Destroyer stone. I mean, this.
I think
it should be nerfed. I mean, it should be nerfed. 350. It scales off your level, etc. One thing to note about this versus the upgrade version: you cannot smite players with it, which means if you're smiting, you're guaranteed hitting the objective. That's something you can do. If somebody has like Bone Crusher or the tier 2, you can body block it and make it harder for them to smite the objective. Happened to me yesterday. I smited an objective. It was prime. I was going for the steal. I went to smite. My smite went through the prime, smited the enemy Murdoch, and I lost the prime and I lost the game. I was very upset about it. But you can't do that with the tier 1. You cannot do that with the tier 1. Just a thing to note. Very OP item.
I think they can make it more interesting. Back in my old Paragon days, they had what was called Flame of Possession, where the more times you used it, the stronger it got. That would make junglers have to think about when they use their smite, if they want to upgrade that damage or if they want to hold it for a possible steal on like a Prime Spirit or Mini Prime or something like that. I think that would be far more interesting than it just gaining damage with level.
I agree. I think it should also scale off of leveling the item itself.
Yes.
As well. I think that would be beneficial. I also think there should be a alternate version of the item that builds off the same tier 1 that gives you different stats, whether it be protections. I think the same thing for the Yellowstone. There should be a second version of it that gives you protections as opposed to magical power, because if I'm playing like steel support, what is magical power going to do for me? You know what I mean? I'm not soloing people with magical power. I want to be tanky. But that's like, yeah, maybe I'll do another video of items they need to make.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of them.
There's a lot. There's a lot.
If you do make a support item with protections, you got to make it orange in honor of steel.
True. True.
Oh my god, if another person invites me to their group, I'm gonna.
I've gotten like 6. Destroyer's Dagger. Do you know what this item is? This is tier 2.
No.
This is anti-heal. So when you hit somebody with physical damage, it applies anti-heal.
20%. That's a dagger?
There's 2. There's 2 of them. 1 for each hand, you know?
Okay. See, look at that. Now. The reason I didn't know what you're talking about, I always thought they were pruning shears. Like,
the blades are opposite directions. Well, sorry, they go the same direction, not opposite.
Okay, I mean, it's a good item.
Yeah,
it builds into a good item, so.
I mean, it builds into 2 items, actually. It builds into ghost axe, too. You probably didn't even know that.
Nope.
Yeah, I mean, it's anti-heal. Anti-heal is always going to be good. Especially with Narbash being like a top pick. Dual Moon. I'm curious as to how you see this item, because I'm very strong about this item. About where I think it is.
I like Dual Moon, but that again is coming from a lower ranked, less skilled player, because it allows me to make mistakes and slow people down and chase them. I'm old. I have a hard time tracking, okay? This helps me track people. So while I like Dual Moon, I think it's probably a waste of gold if you are skilled enough to actually hit your basic attacks in melee range.
Okay, so it's a slow on melee attacks. It does slow on range, but it's a less slow. You're not building this on ADCs. Yeah. The reason I think this item is bad is because you can literally just jump, just jump while you're auto attacking, and you barely get slowed at all anyways. So you can still chase people down. I think this item is terrible. Some people swear by it, especially on like Seraph.
That's what I was gonna say. Kwang and Seraph are the 2 that I build it on.
I think it's terrible personally, but you know, I've seen it built. I've seen it work. I still don't think it's good. Just jump when you're auto attacking. You won't have the issue.
It's one of those items that it's a crutch. I understand that I'm using a crutch when I build Dual Moon, but I need that crutch. Therefore, I am going to take Dual Moon personally.
You know, that makes sense. That's fair. Like a valid. Echidna's Trick. Oh, okay. I mean, I already talked about this item. I think this item's terrible. I think it needs a buff, to be honest. Mm-hmm. I think you need to get a benefit when you fully stack it. I think that's all it needs, really. Give it like 10 pen when you fully stack it, maybe. An extra, you get a burst of 20 power when you fully stack it, something like that. Because what happens is late game, you get about 800 mana from this. So the amount that you actually get from the passive, because it gives you power based off your mana, is about 100. And if I'm building a 100 power item, I'd rather just build Mathematicians, which is 100 power, or I'd rather just build Toto, or just upgrade to Greenstone even for 85. Or not the Greenstone, sorry, the Bluestone. I don't think this item is good. I don't think you need the mana from it, especially if you're at the point where you're fully stacked and like your late game. Like I don't think it's good. It just needs something when you stack it, really. That's about it.
I'm with you on this one.
Electric Stone. I'm gonna put it A, but I think it's bad.
The only reason it's good is because you kind of need it to build full crit if you're going full crit.
Well, I think you could just go short sword personally, but people like swear by this item. I don't see it. I've never built this item. I don't think it's good. But anytime I talk to an ADC main, they're like, "Oh, Electric Stone's busted." I'm like, "I don't see it, but okay." Like, I'll take your word for it. I don't play the role, So I'll put it A tier.
Yeah.
I don't play the role. I'll trust the ADC's opinion.
I would put it B tier.
You put it B.
It looks like corn.
It does look like corn. Why did you say that? It kind of looks like a moldy potato, honestly. It's got the fuzz coming off of it. I'll put it B tier. I just don't know why I wouldn't just build short sword. It's an extra 400 gold, similar stats, but you actually get power from it. Like and crit. Like I just don't know why you build this. From a mid laner perspective, that's how I feel about it. Alchema Blaster. I think this item should be nerfed, so I'm gonna be honest.
Yeah, it's 50%. Like I don't understand. Like the physical power ones are all 40%, right?
Yeah, but the difference is
What?
there's multiple there's multiple physical ones. This is the only magical nullification
Yeah,
item.
that's true.
I think it. I shouldn't say it needs a nerf. I don't think it needs a nerf. I think there needs more competition in the slot that it would go. Like more pen options
Yeah.
would be a nerf, like an indirect nerf to the item, because it is only 60 power for 3,000 gold. But like, it's the only pen option, so you have to build it. It's very strong though.
I think the only thing that's holding this back is by the time it's useful, people have already surrendered.
I would agree. I would agree. But it is like useful, like even like because flat pen isn't super strong. When Pendant was built, like I was building this item like second, third. Like
oh, really?
When Pendant was being built, because like people go Pendant, they're at like 100 prots. This item is basically 60 power and 50 pen at that point, which is just really strong. Now people aren't really building like Pendant, so it's not as good as early, but it is still like incredibly strong. Embodiment of Vengeance.
This is another one for my machine gun Muriel build.
This is another, I think this is more of a meme item.
Yep.
It's
100%.
just magical power, attack speed, but your auto attacks don't scale off magical power. It just, I don't even think it should necessarily be buffed. I think they just need to change it, because the items are super cheap for that build, but like, just why would I build it when I could just build a better item?
I tried this in Jungle Aurora and it was horrible.
That sounds, first of all, you played Aurora. I'm sorry for, your mental health.
Oh, come on. I love Aurora. I'll play in Aurora.
And in jungle, like,
yeah,
that's rough. That's rough. I have seen a couple people build it on like Sevarog jungle for some reason. Don't ask me why. I don't know. I don't know why.
It's for machine gun Muriel. That's the only reason this item exists.
Or you're like playing Wraith and you want to be different. Like, I don't know.
It's a trap. It's another trap item.
Yeah, very trap item. I agree. Emergency, is it rescue unit? Is that what this is called? Yeah, rescue unit.
Yeah.
This item's nuts.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you know this item. This item needs a nerf.
Oh, I know what it is. I built it on Grux.
Yeah, this item is insane. So basically, it gives you a shield when you're at 30%, equal to 15% of your max HP, and increases your physical power by 15%. So if you're building full power, you get a ton of power, and you still get like a fat health shield. And it gives you 400 HP, just flat, which is a really strong item. I think to nerf this item, they should nerf Fanatics so that you don't get the shield at the same time. Because what happens is you build this item in jungle with Fanatics Dessert, and you get like 1,000 health shield at the same time, because you get both shields at the same time. Very, very strong. Should be nerfed in my opinion. Just that, I don't think the item, like the stats or anything, need to be nerfed, but just make the shield proc at a different time than Fanatics, and it would be fine.
Yeah. I think the other problem, excuse me, I think the other problem with it is building it with emergency treatment, which is the one that gives you increased lifesteal when your health is below 40%. You get this shield and you get this lifesteal. So you get this big shield that saves you, and then you build up health behind that shield. So you're damn near unkillable.
Yeah, same thing with Fanatics. I think it's same issue with Fanatics there, I think. You get E-treatment at the same time, which is also a busted item. I mean, I think it should be nerfed. Pretty much the same thing. It should just be nerfed in the same vein. I just think the proc needs to be different. It's hard to say they should nerf it because it is like the only lifesteal item really for ADCs. I think it needs more competition, but at its current state, I think it's too strong, but I think they can't nerf it unless there's more lifesteal items. So like, I want to put it in the nerf tier, but I feel like it has to be in the S tier just because there's no competition for it yet. Unfortunately.
I can agree with that.
Fanatics. This item's number one. Nerf this item. I'm not even going to talk about this item. I don't even want to talk about it.
I hate it so much.
Crit shield that scales just off your level. You don't even have to be like, it doesn't scale power or anything. You just get a flat health shield, 500. It's insane. It's only a fourth of your health bar. It's just absolutely nuts item.
How Pendant got hit and this didn't is beyond me. Because, I mean, the problem with Pendant was you weren't giving anything up. You were still getting damage while building armor and defense. Fanatics is the same way. You are getting a whole bunch of damage with a whole bunch of defense. You're not giving anything up. When you're buying items, you should be having to make a hard choice as to what you want. Do you want damage or do you want survivability? Fanatics just gives you both, and it's a ridiculously huge shield.
It's also very cheap, 2,600. It gives you attack speed and crit, so you can build it in both builds. It's just very insane item. That needs to be there immediately. This is tier 2. Feathers of Protection. This is tier 2 item. This is just a tenacity item.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's just 30% tenacity. It's just good.
Yeah.
I figured I'd mention that because it is like, it's the only item outside of the full item that actually has tenacity. I'm not actually sure if you can stack it together. I know you can buy them both, but I don't know if they stack to 60%, which if they do is actually pretty strong. Something we'll probably have to test later, honestly.
Yeah.
I think it's good. I think they just need more stuff to build off of it. More tenacity items in the game would be good. Just solid item. Flare's ID. Okay, I'm a bit of a Flare's fanboy. I can't even lie.
Oh, really? Okay.
I kind of like it, but I think I only like it because it gives you mana.
I think it's. I usually only build Flares if the enemy team has like a Countess or something that's been eating my ass the entire game.
That makes sense. It does give you like cooldown too. That was the other reason I really like it. Is it gives you cooldown. I don't think it needs a buff or anything. Would you put it A or B just before I place it?
I would put it B tier because I think it's situational.
Put it B tier
to buy it. Yeah, I would. That's what I would put it. But
I can respect that. It is only 65 power. I just personally, I'd put it A tier, but I'm a fanboy for it, so I think I'm a little biased. So I'll put it B. I think it's good, especially on like Shimby or something. You get like Archon and you get the shield and kind of get to do like the emergency treatment thing where you get the shield and you get to abuse it a little bit. I'm just a fanboy for it, that's all. Or like Countess, you dash in, you don't get blown up immediately. Feels good. And cooldown on Countess is strong.
Yeah.
Frendera's Flask. This item's interesting. It's an interesting item.
Yeah, it's interesting, but it sucks.
I think it's a gimmick item. I don't think it's good. I think it's a gimmick item. It is kind of funny though, playing Revenant and you buy this last item on Revenant and you come out of the bush on your 4th shot and it crits for 1,600. That's pretty funny. But I think it's a gimmick item. It's fun. I don't think it's particularly that strong. It's fun.
Yeah.
It is actually pretty good on Fang Mao though. If you go the full damage build with Respirator and Fanatics, you pop into a bush, you dash auto cancel into the E, and you could just explode somebody with this item. It's a gimmick, but it is like it's okay. It's not. It doesn't need a buff. I think it just.
Yeah.
It's such a weird item because it's hard to say it needs a buff, but I don't think it needs to be any higher either.
I just feel that it's so weird that like you have to be waiting for them to like come to prime or something to get really good effect out of it. I think if you try and use it in the middle of a team fight, you're basically crowd controlling yourself by only staying in a bush for 3.5 seconds. Ugh.
It does carry when you're out of the bush though. I don't know if you know that. So like if you're in the bush and you get the proc, you can walk out of the bush and you still have the proc.
Yeah. I mean, but just anytime in a team fight, you're taking yourself out of the fight for 3.5 seconds.
I think if it procced off like Kalari stealth though, that might be kind of cool. Just like any stealth as opposed to just Shadow Bush might be good for it, but I don't think it necessarily needs a buff.
Does it not work in the Shadow Wells?
That's a good question. Actually, I actually don't know. It does specify Shadow Bush, so
yeah.
Probably not. I don't know. That's a good question. I have to test that one. That's a good question. Fruit agreed. This item's really good.
Yeah, fruit's good.
Very, very top tier item, I think. I think it's just, I don't know, flat pen, percent pen. Well, it's percent reduction, which actually increases your team's damage. Health, prots, power. It's a good item. Just all around good stats. I think the only downside to the item is that flat pen is not fantastic, but like just a fantastic item overall. You didn't even know this item was in the game. Ghost Axe. This is the other anti-heal item.
I actually built Ghost Axe the other day. I forgot about it though.
This is the other anti-heal item. This is just 40% instant anti-heal. 50 power. I think it's you buy it for anti-heal, you don't really buy it for the stats.
Yeah.
If you're playing a non-ADC.
You'd be building short sword instead of ghost axe, but
if you're not playing an ADC though, I mean, you're like Fang Mao or something, you might buy this.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I think it's a good item. I just don't think there's enough characters in the game that utilize it well at the moment. Especially since it's like a tank jungle meta. We have so many items to go through. Gloves of Jealousy. I think this item's good. Personally.
Yeah, I think it's good on certain heroes. I don't think it's great on everybody, but
I agree.
It can be good.
Like Countess, I think this is nerfed on Countess. This item makes Countess extremely strong.
That's exactly what I had in mind when I was saying it's good on certain heroes.
Yeah, it's good on certain heroes, just not great on everybody. I have built it a few times on like Gideon or Bellica, because you get like the guaranteed auto or whatever, but it's alright. It's good. If you want to build it, feel free. It's not the best item in the game though. It doesn't give cooldown though, one of the only magical power items that gives cooldown outside of Flare's ID and Witch's Shoes, which is something to note, I guess. Short Sword of the Hurricane. Ooh, this item needs to be nerfed.
Yeah, it's really good.
This item is insane. Part of the reason it's insane is because it procs off Spirit Fang. So if you're playing Grux, you like pull somebody, proc Spirit Fang into when like an auto, you're proccing it 3 times instantly. Very strong item. Makes you tanky. Gives you 15% cooldown. The only item in the game now that Pendant got nerfed that gives 15% cooldown. Just very, very strong item. Yep. Pretty self-explanatory, honestly. Guardian of Halen. Fantastic item as well.
Oh god, yeah.
Better than high-end armor now.
Very overlooked item.
I think it's kind of coming around now, at least at the higher end. People are starting to build it every game, especially with how like the rise of Revenant at the higher ranks, where he's kind of considered the best character in the game now. And people go that like grip build. It's so cheap for what it does. In almost every game, ADCs are building crit. It's just super powerful for the price, and I don't necessarily think it needs to be nerfed because I think it is a counter item, and you can go a build where you don't go crit, so they don't get any value out of it. But it is just like it is incredibly strong. Nano machines. This is
the cost on it I think needs to come down a little bit. Otherwise,
you think so?
The passive I think is really good.
800 health for 3k. You think that's too much? I think 3k is too much for that.
I don't know.
I think it's the problem I have with the item is why would I not just back? Like I feel like most of the time you're using it, you would either just back or you're dead.
Yeah.
I don't think it's bad though. I think it is good. I've built it a few times on Sevarog, especially more like recently. But it's just such like a late game item where you're like you can't afford to back because the other team could just do prime. That I think it's just like it's just so situational. It's so situational. I don't think it's bad though. I kind of agree the cost could definitely come down a little bit, maybe like 28. Mainly because Sweet Life is 29 and gives 500, but you know we'll talk about that busted item when we get there. Like, we'll get there eventually. That item's insane. But yeah, nano machines. I think it's fine. Health pot. I mean,
you put health pots in here?
Yeah. I put the pots in. I feel like that's kind of relevant.
Okay.
I feel like that's kind of relevant. I put it A tier. I think it's fine.
Yeah, it's fine.
It's the only non-refillable I think you're ever building. You buy it when you want to buy a ward level 1. You buy 2 of these in a ward. Personally, I'm a man, so I just buy the refillable every time. Like, I never buy a ward level 1. Feel free to come gank me. It's okay. I don't know. High-end armor. Where would you put this?
High-end armor? I would put it at A tier. I wouldn't put it at S tier. I think it's good for what it is. It just makes you tanky. Tanks are really good in the game. Just a good all-around item.
I kind of think it's B tier personally.
Okay.
The main reason being, just build Haleen. You get 5 less prots. Sure, you don't get the passive necessarily, but like you still take 5% less from auto attacks because you have the tier 2 passive. So you basically only take the reduced damage from abilities, which I don't think you really have to worry about a lot right now. I just think Haleen is just a better item. It's also 1,000 gold cheaper, which is, in my opinion, I mean, I just don't see why you ever buy this item.
Okay, you've convinced me. I'll agree that it's B tier.
I don't even know what this item is actually. This next item
Oh, what is it?
recovers High Priest consolation.
High Priest Constellation, isn't that the one where you can take a debuff off of somebody else?
Yes. I've never built this item.
That's a good item. That's a really good item.
I have never seen anybody use this. I've never seen it built. I have never actively built it myself. I've never seen this item in a game. I've seen it in the store. I've never seen it in a game.
Dude, it's amazing.
I have never been like, man, I wish I could un-CC my teammate. I don't play support, I guess. It's a support item.
It's a straight up support item.
But like, I don't know. I've never seen it. So I'll take your word for it on this one.
Part of what builds into it, like the tier 2 that builds into it, you can still remove a CC from an ally, and like, I mean, you don't see. I'm sure you don't see this as much as I see it, but phase supports. Like, they link your ADC and you see that they're about to get pulled under the tower, you just hit your ADC with this and her link is gone.
It breaks the link? I actually didn't know that. Okay.
Breaks the link.
Alright, that's better than I thought it was then.
And then, you know, Rampage is insane. So, I mean, even if they dropped his stun from 2 seconds to 1.5 seconds, that's still 1.5 seconds. If you see your ADC take a rock to the face, just immediately hit them with this and they're good to go. They're not going to get locked down. So this is an amazing item. I think more people should be building this.
Yeah, I've just never seen it. Where would you put it? Just because I've never seen it.
I would put it A tier, but I can see if people started to use it more, it could become S tier really quick. But right now it's A tier because people just don't know how to use it and people don't build it.
That makes sense.
It's 2,500 gold. You get to you give your ADC anybody, not just your ADC, anybody a get out of jail.
Well, hold on, he's cleansing my ADC and not me. You know, might have to go down a couple tiers. Let's be selective here. Holy Relic. This item is incredible. It's such a low cooldown. It gives you prots. You can cleanse yourself at a CC. It gives you magic prots, which is like the counter to ADCs. Like, it's supposed to be rock, paper, scissors. Like, tanks kill mages, mages kill ADCs, ADCs kill tanks. It basically counters that because you get magic prots and you just cleanse CC. It gives you crit, part of the crit build. Very good on like Revenant, things like that. Just incredible item. I mean, doesn't need much.
You could actually activate this along with Clawed Storm, and it gives you a huge boost of movement speed.
Does it give movement speed too? I actually didn't know it gives you movement speed. That's how good the item is. I actually didn't know it gives you movement speed.
Yeah, it's 40% for 2 seconds.
Yeah, that's actually insane. It's a super low cooldown too. Like 80 seconds is. I mean, it's faster than your flash. It's very very strong. The only very good item on Kwang again. As a Smite player, the only downside to it is you have to already be hit by CC before you can use it. Whereas in Smite, you know, you could like beads and pre-cleanse. That's the only. It's weird to use for me, but like in general, like fantastic item. Ice Spirit Gloves. Oh, I fucking hate this item. It will also break Phase's link if you didn't know that. Considering you said the other one did, I just assumed that it did now. Yeah. To be honest, I assume the stasis item does too then, as well, right? I'm not sure. Well, we test that at some other point. Ice Gloves, I mean, busted item for the price. It's just they're really good. It's a little better than Berserkers just because it's cheaper, I think. But I mean, they're similar items. They do the same thing basically. Just good item. Melodious Spray. I think this item's kind of terrible, to be honest. That's going to fall into the what the hell is even that? I don't know. What is this? So this is physical defense of nearby enemy heroes by 15%. It reduces the procs of enemy heroes when you're near them, but only for physical. The reason I don't think this item is good is because it doesn't give you prots, so you're not actually tanky when you build it. The other problem, it does give you prots. Sorry, it doesn't give you power. So like if you're gonna build it, you would build it on like a jungler, but there's only 2 physical junglers right now. Because Kwang is mostly magical, so you're building this on Grux or Fang Mao. Otherwise, you're only increasing your ADC damage, who already has 50% pen or whatever. So I just don't think it's that great.
Yeah, I didn't even know that it existed.
Yeah, I just don't know why you'd build this. I think if there was more physical solo laners, like most of the solo laners you're playing are like Steel, Sevarog, Rampage. Like these are all magical characters, so they don't get any value out of it. I think if you had more physical solo laners, it would be better. But most comps right now are like 3 magical, so I just don't think it's good. Like, just for that reason, just not yet. It needs more characters for it to like shine. Really, I think. I don't think it needs adjustments though. I think it's good price, good stats, just more characters in the game. Mana black hole. They nerfed this item for some reason.
Yeah. I hardly ever see it built. It's not a bad item.
There's just too many good magical items. That's all. I think that's its only problem. Like, I don't think the item is bad. I think it's just average. Like, I think it's A tier just because, like, if I'm going to build a magic defense item, I'm never like, I'm going to build black hole. I'm like, I'm going to build the tenacity item. I'm going to build scissors. Something like that. And then I'm like, oh, I already have scissors. I don't need black hole because it's too much magic defense. That's how I see it, at least. I never build this item. I don't know why it got nerfed. To be honest with you, especially it got nerfed at the same time as Pendant, and I was like, why would you nerf it at the same time as Pendant? Because Pendant had magic defense, so if I ever had Pendant, I would never build this item. So I just like I don't know. It's not bad. It just there's too many things competing with it right now. I think for it to be S tier. Mana potion. I've never had a mana potion in my life. I don't even know why you would buy a mana potion.
When I go mid lane, I always buy a health potion, a mana potion, a ward, and greenstone. I never use the mana potion.
Yeah, I have never used the mana potion. The only time I've ever seen mana potion built is when you play a casual and you get one of those people that builds 4 pots, the stone, and a ward. Like I've never built it. I've never seen anybody use one. It's really bad. Don't buy mana pots. They're not good. Marauder's Watch. This item I feel like is underbought. I don't like it. It seems so good on paper, but I just never see it used.
I don't know what it is. Marauder's Watch?
So when you hit people with auto attacks, it reduces the cooldown of all of your abilities by 0.2 seconds. And it gives you attack speed, cooldown reduction, some physical power. I feel like it's pretty good, like last item in the attack speed build. I don't know why people don't build this. Like if you're playing like Murdoch, you get extra like knockbacks, you get extra rockets. Like I feel like it's good. Like I just never seen anybody build it. And it counts your ultimate too, so it reduces your ult cooldown as well. I never see it built. I feel like it's B tier just because I never see it, but at the same time, I feel like it's almost like it could be really good. I just don't see it. Maybe it's too expensive. I don't know.
I didn't know what it was, so
yeah, understandable. Margot Stone. Do you know what this item is? I see.
Oh yeah, so that's a stasis item.
It's too expensive.
Yes, that's what I was gonna say. It's again the thing where the stasis is great. I love having stasis in a game. It allows you to get away with some crazy cool shit. However, for the price of it, it just doesn't do enough.
It gives you 70 power too. Like, how does that give you less power than Blue Heart? You know what I mean? Like, it's so low power.
It's again, why would I need stasis in a team fight if I just have good positioning and kill the enemy team before they kill me?
I feel like stasis is good. It's not good for the price of Toto, basically, is how I look at it.
Yeah.
Like, I just like, if it was like 2,800 or something, I would probably buy it. I just don't know why.
It would be overpowered then, though.
Well, I'm just saying, like, 35 is like insane. Like, it's too expensive. It's the third most expensive item in the game. It needs to not be the third most expensive item in the game. I think that's really all you have to do, or increase the power, make it like 110 power or something, so that it's actually like you're getting value when you build it.
Yeah,
it's just, I don't know. Mathematicians. I don't know how you feel about this item. I've recently done a flip flop on it.
So, I think it's great.
I used to think it was S tier. I've done a flip flop, and I think it's A tier now. The reason being, 2 of the components build into Toto, and if I have 2 of the components, I might as well just build Toto for an extra 600 gold. That's how I feel about it. That's what the conclusion I've come to. A great item though. I think it is a good item. If you get the proc on somebody, like the power proc, you can get, like, I was in training mode. I got Bellica's bomb that hit for like 1,700 or something like that late game with the proc with the witch's shoes. It is a very good item. I I'd rather have Toto when I build it. Every time I build it, I'm like, yeah, I might as well just go Toto here instead.
I built this along with Archons on Shimby one time, and it seemed like it was really good, but I was like 18 and won that game, so like I think I could have built anything and still have been doing really well. You know?
It's good. I just like, I don't know. I think it's too expensive. It is one of the only cooldown items that's actually like buildable on most mids. Like Flares gives cooldown, Gloves of Jealousy gives cooldown, this gives cooldown, and Witch's Shoes. Those are basically the only magical items that give cooldown. This one is the only item besides Witch's Shoes that you could probably build on almost any mid laner. You get value out of it. So I build it a lot on Gideon, but like again, when I'm building it, I'm always like, I should just go Toto instead. Like it's just, I'm halfway there. I might as well, you know.
So when you said flip flop, I thought you were going to say that it was just a terrible.
No, I don't think it's terrible. I used to think it needed a nerf. I did used to think it needed a nerf. Like it was a little strong, but I've toned it down a little bit. I'm much more like moderate on it now, I think.
Okay.
Jewelry box. I mean,
yeah, it's really good.
This is insane.
Even I know it's good, and I don't play.
Yeah, I mean, the build is literally built around the item. I mean, that's pretty self-explanatory. That's all you really need to know. It reduces your health based off, like every auto attack does percent health. The only saving grace of this item is that it's percent of current HP instead of percent of max HP, which is good. The problem with this item, I think, is that it increases your base number as opposed to giving you a secondary number. What I mean by that is, like, if you hit somebody and you have crit with this item, that 6% now gets applied to your basic auto attack. So if the 6% is more than your basic auto attack damage, like if you're doing 80 and the 6% is 100, you're now doing 180 and then you're critting on 180, which I think is kind of a problem. Instead of doing like 80 and then 100 and then you're critting for 160 with 100, I just think it's like, I don't know why it gets applied to your basic auto attack number. Other than that, I think it's fine. I mean, yeah, it's just that really, just the fact that it applies to your crits, which is kind of busted. Minimata, I mean, it's fine.
Yeah, another one that's just kind of fine. Pretty good on howitzer to keep people inside of your ultimate.
Yeah, same with gadget ultimate, or like the right click. It's fine. I mean, I've built it every now and then. I wouldn't say it's a meme item, but it's definitely like, you build it like last item because you're like, why not, or something. Like I'm never like, oh man, I can't wait to get meta online to get my power spike. It's just kind of like, I'm playing gadget. I seem to be getting big ults. You know, I'll get a meta to make it a little better. Like
sometimes I'm like, wouldn't it be funny if I built this on the face so that my ease would slow them as well as everything else?
I do that all the time. Like, wouldn't it be? Every time I build it, I'm just like, wouldn't it be funny if I just got this every time? But it's like, it's good enough that you can do that without actually like lowering your DPS at all, because it is 85 power, but it's more just like a funny item than like overpowered or anything. I think it has its place. I think it just needs more characters that actually utilize like that item specifically on all of the abilities, as opposed to just like an ultimate.
Yeah.
It is a funny item though. Lighter.
What the fuck is it, by the way?
Which
that picture?
This?
The mini
Mata. I think it's like a horn or something, or like a horn that you would drink out of. Like I think it's like a horn with a potion in the middle.
Oh, I see. It's a smaller Moda. I don't know. Dude, I don't know what the fuck it is.
I have no idea either. That was a good one though. Yeah, I was not expecting that. That was a good one. I'm gonna use that on stream one of these days.
Go for it.
The next item, Lighter the High Priest. This one is busted.
Yeah, it is.
Gives your team. It gives your team prots. Gives your team a shield. Also increases your team's movement speed. On top of just double defense, health, and cooldown. I mean, it's just, this item is insane. Nerf it. Make it 3k gold or something. I don't know. It's it was insane. I'm not even gonna keep talking about it. I'm going on to the next item. Mutant Poe. Another item I don't even want to talk about.
Why is it 2,400 gold?
2,400.
It's so cheap.
It's the same.
Somebody into a fucking fish.
It's 2 seconds. You can have multiple of these. In competitive, you only are in most of the competitive leagues. You're only allowed one smite, so you just hit this on the jungler and they do nothing. You can cancel abilities with it. It's the same range as an auto attack, so you like a Narbash can hit you max range. A Muriel can have this easily. Make it lower range. Make it 1 second, and it's fine. Or make it like 3k gold, something like that. Again, another item I don't even want to talk about.
Or make it a skill shot.
True, you could make it a skill shot too. I don't think they'd do that, but you could definitely make it a skill shot. I would be fine with that too. That would be like a huge change, actually. I would love that. I'm gonna actually, you know what? I'm gonna put that in the change category because I think that should be changed to a skill shot. Good idea. Nightmare. This is just tier 2 magic anti-heal.
Yeah.
I think it's actually pretty bad. I think it's worse than the physical anti-heal, just because mages need more power, and I don't think it gives enough power when you build it.
Yeah, I only ever see it when I'm on my way to Sage's Whip, so.
Yeah.
I will sometimes build this and not Sage's Whip for a little bit.
I do that too sometimes, but I just, like, I don't know. It just doesn't give you any value. It's 20 power. Just not a lot. Just meh. Like, I think it should be, sorry, I think it should be 30. Just make it a little better. Or like 25 at least. Like, I don't know. It's just meh. Optium Mace, I think that's how you say it. Is that right?
The fuck
Optinium Mace. This is the tier 2 Spirit Fang that has the passive.
Oh, okay.
This item's like A tier. It's not great. Actually, this is probably B tier. The damage isn't actually relevant at this point because it's 100% of your power, but you're building it first item, so like you only have 25 power. It's alright. It helps you clear. I mean, you build it into Spirit Fang, which is a great item, so like it builds well. It's just man item at the tier 2. Pendant of Confinement. Still S tier, in my opinion. Still S tier.
Sorry, I was thinking that the Obtinium Mace would be better if it was unobtinium Mace. What fucking item are we talking about now?
The pendant.
Okay. Oh, pendant. I still think pendant is good.
Yeah, still S tier. I still think you have to build it on solo. I still think you build it on like tank jungles. Like if you're going like, if you go full tank, you still have to build this item. I think because it is your DPS. This and Zymia's, which I mean, don't even get me started on Zymia's. I mean, you need it for DPS. That's really it. It's good item, good stats. Sucks I took the mana off of it. I do feel that a lot, especially when I play like Sevarog. But I mean, still great item.
Yeah, it's usually my second. I build mask into this whenever I play Kwang.
Yeah, I do the same thing. I do like mask into this, or I go Vamp Sword mask into this. And I mean, that's just my build. This is a tier 1 item. That's not supposed to be in here. Plasma Whip. This is tier 2 Vamp Sword.
Yeah,
it's good. A tier item. I'm gonna put this over here. It's good. I just put this at the bottom. Yeah, it's good. I mean, Plasma Whip's good. You buy it on your first back. Your camp clears faster. You get cleave autos. It's fine. Toto. I mean, you hear me talking about it a lot. It's that item's S tier. Pretty much required now. You're pretty much required to have it in your build just to be relevant late game because all the mages got changed. Just you're building in every game. I don't think it needs to be nerfed, but just good item.
Yeah, that 100% agree. Especially with the mage changes with their scaling being better. Late game rampaging Toto is just it's harsh. You really feel the difference when you complete this item.
Refillable health pot. They should nerf this, in my opinion.
Yeah,
like it's broken. I mean, make it 1 health pot or something. It's broken. It's very broken. The value you get out of this is just insane. They should like really nerf that like immediately. You just 2 health pots every back is like you're spending 100 gold for 150 every time you back. It's busted. Mana, I think it's a little bit more balanced. You're only building it on Narbash. I mean, that's it. If you're not playing Narbash, don't buy it.
I build it when I play an aggressive Decker, which is again few and far between nowadays. But
I don't play Decker, but I could see you building on a Decker. I know our mana costs are really high. Sage's Whip, just your generic anti-heal. A tier.
That's good. Good for what it is.
Yeah. Where they get chainsaw?
Chainsaw. Every fucking ADC builds chainsaw. I mean, it's stupid good. Like you said, the only time that's not good is if you're playing jungle and like people aren't going to have more health than you.
Yeah, just insane item. It's just pen and you do 15% more damage. I mean,
yeah,
just an insane item.
Yeah, needs a nerf for real.
Mask tier 2 Zimia's.
Oh fuck, the cost on that needs to go way up.
I agree. I think it should be 800. I think it should be nerfed to 800. But I think the item itself, like the stats and the damage, is fine. But I think it should be 800. Personally,
it's way too easy to build super early.
Yeah, you could literally get it off like 3 waves or something like that. It's pretty insane. Next item. I might have to make this. Can I zoom out? There we go. I don't even know what the item this is. What item is this? Oh, shock energy battery. I've never built this item.
It's a fantastic item that everybody should build when they play against me.
I don't even know what this item. It gives you movement speed, and you do your first basic does bonus damage. You lift 50% of your power, and then you lose the movement speed. Why?
You know what this does is people build it thinking that they're going to rush in and gank the shit out of somebody, and then they rush in sprint mode, get rooted, and then never even get that basic attack off.
Part of the reason I don't understand the item though is it gives you defense. It doesn't even give you power.
Yeah.
It's like I just don't understand the point of the item. It's so weird. I
want it to be good because I think the effects are kind of cool on it. It's just not good though, and like you said, why physical defense?
Like I don't know. I've built it maybe once on Kwong during the final test, and that was it. I don't think I've ever built it outside of that. I just don't know why you would build it. It scales off power but gives you prots. I just don't know. I don't get the point of that item. It's also just less damage than Spirit Fang. Like I could just build Spirit Fang and do 150% of my power instead of 50, and I don't have to hit an auto attack. Like, and it's AOE. Like I don't get the point of the item. They should probably just change it, to be honest. Like I don't even know what they would change it to, but it's something else. Short Sword of Decay.
Make it the melee version of Electric Stone.
Honestly, it would still be better.
Well, I mean, I guess Electric Stone is the melee version of Electric Stone, but
yeah, now that I think about it, yeah.
It's just you never see anybody melee build it. I don't know. They need to do something with shock energy battery.
Short Sword of Decay.
Great item.
I mean, yeah, it's a crit item. Gives you anti-heal. I mean, that's it. Crit anti-heal is good. It stacks 60%, I believe. That was 45%. Sorry, pretty sure it's the highest single reduction anti-heal item, and anti-heal does not stack, so it's technically the highest anti-heal that you can have, which is good. Sierra goggles. This is tier 2 pen, 20% physical for like 1,000 gold, I think.
1,200.
1,200. Sorry, I'm not an ADC main. Way to expose yourself. Okay.
I'm looking at it right now. You son of a bitch.
It's good. I mean, 8 tier item. Yeah, it's good. 20% pen for 1,200 gold is good. Not much else to say about that. Spirit armor.
I mean, again, good on certain heroes.
Disagree.
Really?
Same reason Dual Moon is bad, but even worse. At least Dual Moon is a slow, so it helps your team catch up. You get Fatalis, which is, I guess, acceleration as it's called in this game. It's Fatalis and Smite. But you don't get slowed on your auto attacks anyways. Just jump.
Okay.
I think this item's terrible. I think it's a bait, like Dual Moon. Just why? It gives attack speed, I guess, and power. Like, that's cool. But again, you don't need the attack speed to hit the cap the same way you don't need the Greystone. So, like, I don't like it. I think it's bad. I always see ADCs, people that don't play ADC build this item, and I'm just like, bro, just click spacebar and auto attack at the same time. Separate hands. I know that could be confusing. Spirit Fang. Nerf it.
Yeah, I was gonna say I think it might need a nerf. It is
incredible. I mean, it does 150% of your power. It slows. You get attack speed, power, health. I mean,
it doesn't need to slow. Like
it doesn't. It doesn't.
It already does enough, man.
It also does 150% instead of like 100. Is just like why? It procs item effects, like it procs short sword. Why? I just I hate this item. I hate getting hit by this. I hate getting pulled by a Grux and then getting Spirit Fanged. I just nerf it, please. Teardrop.
Yeah, by the time Female jumps on you, and by the time you realize he's there, you're already in execute range.
You could dash on somebody with this, and like Fredna's Flask or whatever it's called, and you like dash, auto attack, use this, and then you E, and you could just execute, and you're killing somebody.
Fred's nose flask.
Fredera's Flask, whatever it's called, man. I don't build the item. I just call it Fred's Flask. Okay, it's Fred's Flintstone. Like, what do you want me to say? I've seen it. You just delete people though. Is really strong.
Yeah.
But yeah. Teardrop. Fucking Teardrop.
I think it might still be S tier. But like I said, its value has gone down in my eyes.
I think the only thing they need to do to Teardrop is make it not stop your sprint. That's it.
Yeah.
I think the item, for its price and the power and the effect that it gives you, which is very strong, I just think it shouldn't stop your sprint. Other than that, I think it's good. Or you shouldn't be able to enter sprint while it's ticking on somebody, one of the two. And I think it's fine. But I mean,
that's an interesting idea.
Just a good item. Like I don't know, one of the two I think would be good, just to make it so that you can't get like teardropped and then they can enter sprint and you can't sprint for 3 seconds and now they're already up on top of you and it's just like there's no way you can escape it. But yeah, good item. I mean, obvious S tier.
I think it's Spear's Teardrop is a lot like Wraith, a lot of Wraiths build Spear's Teardrop. I think it's more annoying than it is good.
I kind of agree.
Reason, people overvalue it.
It is also bugged. I don't know if you know this, but if you hit somebody with an ability that lasts more than 3 seconds, it reapplies on the same ability. For example, Gideon ult. If I Gideon ult somebody, it will apply a Teardrop on the first hit, tick 3 times, and then on the last hit, reapply it a second time and get another 3 ticks. I don't know if you know that. That should be changed.
This is fine.
That's OP.
It definitely needs a cooldown on the proc for Spear's Teardrop.
That would also help actually as well.
Every single fucking time
that would also that'd be fantastic. Give me a 5-second cooldown on that. That'd be fantastic. Yeah. You could even give it like an extra 15 power if you want to. If you do that, maybe like an extra make it cost like 100 gold or something. 100 gold more. Give it attack speed. Make it a wraith item. Next item is Stonebreaker.
The fuck is that?
Just a tier 2 smite.
Oh, god damn it.
I think it's the worst version.
You see how often I upgrade my smite? I do jungle a lot.
It does apply as slow. I think it's the worst version though.
Yeah. It's
cheap. It is cheap. Good for magical junglers. Like getting Sevarog, I usually buy this first over the mask. I think it's just more value.
Okay.
It's good. It's just like it can be body blocked, and it just doesn't give you good stats. It's 5 power and 10 magical power, or 5 fizz, 10 magical. It's alright. I mean, for 650 gold, it is what it is. It's a smite. You use it for a smite. I mean, not much to really talk about it.
Yeah.
I don't even know what this item is called. I know what it is. I don't know what it's called. Sturdy combat suit. This is anti-heal when you get hit.
Oh, it's a tier 2 item, right?
Yeah, it goes in as Zings.
Okay.
It's good. I mean, applies anti-heal. A lot of games I'll actually just buy this, the tier 2, and then just skip into another item. Because it applies 25%. It's a good item. It's worth buying. For sure. I don't even know what this is. What even is this item? A sewing kit? Superior immunity
what?
boosters. I never. Oh, it's a spell shield for physicals. Oh, it's a fish. Sorry, it's a fish. I just realized now that it's a fish. I didn't know that.
Sewing kit?
It looks like a sewing kit to me. I didn't realize that it was a fish.
Okay. Oh, now I know what you're talking about.
Yeah,
The grilled fish thing.
Yeah. I thought it was a sewing kit because I play on low settings. I didn't realize this was a fish until literally just now. It's all right. I mean, this is a spell shield.
Yeah, I mean, it can be useful against, like, if you're getting dicked on by a countess or something, you can block a good bit of her damage.
I mean, better than Blue Heart. It's 400 gold cheaper.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's a fish.
And it's a fish, yeah. Not a sewing kit.
With either mayonnaise dribbled upon it or possibly cuts in the fish. I'm not sure what it is.
I think it's like, what is it? Green beans on top or asparagus, maybe?
You think it's white asparagus on top of the fish?
No, there's cuts in there, but I think there's like, I think there's stuff on top of the cuts.
Okay. I think if you changed the asparagus to mayonnaise, it would be a little bit better.
You know, I agree.
The change column. I hate mayonnaise, by the way.
Oh, say it, don't worry. My dad loves it. Can't stand it. Swamp Cloak.
I think it's a great item.
The only reason I don't think it's a great item is, again, the same reason I don't think Mana Black Hole is that great. I'm never building this when I can just build Scissors because it gives magic defense. It doesn't give any other stat. I just 3k gold for HP and magic defense. I'm just gonna build Scissors. It gives me the same stats for cheaper.
It's part of what I think is the optimum Muriel build, which is cooldown reduction. And not only do you get that cooldown reduction, whenever you fly into a team fight with your ultimate, it slows people down around you and gives you a bit more of a chance to escape if you don't have Victoria's Secret up and running.
Okay. Counterpoint, why would you not just build Confinement? Gives the same cooldown, similar HP, prots, you get more damage, and it's cheaper. Again, I don't know, I would never build this item.
Okay. I like it.
I think it's okay, I just think the other items need to be toned down for it to be good.
Okay.
Also, if there's a better auto attack penalty, it would also be stronger. But I don't know. Sweet Life.
Still good.
Still top tier, yeah. They need to tone down the HP on this item. Like a lot. Like a lot.
Yeah, why does it give 500 health?
I have no idea. A little insane. Or take the cooldown off of it. One of the two. A very busted item. Even if you only get one proc in a team fight, you're still healing a ton. If you build this plus Scissors, you're literally healing like 20% if you proc both of them. Like 22% or something like that. It's pretty insane. Especially on like Severog or something like game. Like it's a great item. Still. I don't even know what this is called, but it's the tier 2 magic pen. Tarlia's branch. I didn't even know it was called that. Tier 2 magic pen.
Way?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it builds into your pin.
I think
it's a stepping stone.
I think it's bad though. The reason being, it's 10%. The tier 3, it goes up to 50. It's just like, why is that making? But the physical is 20 that scales into 40. It's just like, what how does that math work? Every time I build this, I'm like, bro, this feels so bad. And then I finish like Alchema Blaster, and I'm like, oh, get melted, loser. You know what I mean? Like, make it 20. I don't know. It just feels bad to build. Or make it so you have to build 2 of them to go into Alchema Blaster. I think that would also be good. Something like that would be nice. That also like nerf Alchema Blaster a little bit.
Yeah.
Trees Band.
This is decent on like Narbash or Muriel. I don't think
Narbash or Muriel. Do you know what it does?
Cooldown reduction. Yeah, it gives you health recovery and shield effects.
To the person wearing it.
No. Granted to the hero, it increases. Wait, does it not give it to the person?
Gives it to the person using it, like the person that has it.
Oh, really? I thought it gave it to.
No.
Wow, I misunderstood this.
Is it
a horrible item?
No. It is actually good. It's good on Rampage. It's good on Rampage.
Okay.
Because it increases Rampage ult, especially if you have a Muriel Rampage. You build this, you're unkillable. It's a good item. It's just I don't think it's S tier just because it's magic defense. It's same problem that the other items have, but it is actually a good item. It's just,
I completely misunderstood what it did.
it
Though.
would
That's for damn
be
sure.
it would be so busted if it just increased your shielding to everybody. That would be
And
so
healing.
busted. That would be so busted. Narbash first ban. Next item, treasured sword. I mean,
Yeah,
that just goes
that's
into the
good.
nerf tier. I mean, you're
Yeah.
building it for you could build it first item, nerf it. I mean, I don't want to see it anymore. I'm tired of Revenant. I'm so tired of Revenant. He gets 3k gold and he one taps you. Like, I'm tired of it. Nerf him, please. I'm so tired of it.
Shit.
I get Slim Jim 86 in my ADC 0 and 10, and then the Revenant comes over to mid and one taps me. Like, I'm so tired of it. That pisses me off. Vamp sword with the weirdest picture, by the way. I don't know if you know what the picture is. It's like
It was like a chain sword, like Ivy from Soul Calibur. That's
You-
what I thought it was.
You ever seen the Dragon Whip from RuneScape?
No.
That's basically what it is. It's like a barbed whip, basically.
Okay.
That's what it looks like. It looks really dumb. I think it's balanced. It's just A tier item.
Yeah, it's really good.
Yeah, it's good. It's not the best. Like I think Spirit Fang's still better, but like you could build it. You could build it as your only damage item, and it's enough. Gives you all Omni Vamp, so you can heal off abilities and everything. It's just good. Mangoose's favorite item. I'll let you take this one.
What is it?
Victoria's Secret.
Oh, Victoria's Secret, great item.
Yeah, fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, it gives you and everyone around you move speed. Great on Muriel, so you can get the fuck out whenever your ultimate puts you in the wrong location. And it, I don't know how many times I've saved people with this. Sometimes it's even better than shielding to just get them the hell out of a situation.
Yeah, very good item. You could also use this during Narbashal. I don't know if you know that as well.
Yes, I didn't know that.
Okay. Some people don't know that you can do that. Very good on Narbash. You can also blink with Narbashal, but you know, unless you're playing it solo, little troll. But you can blink instant knockup. It's pretty
I don't
funny.
think I've ever done that. That's funny.
It's pretty funny. I like if you're like going to the prime pit, like that first prime, just randomly sell your support stone and pick up one of these, and just start all the like, what is that Narbash doing? And then you blink in for an instant knockup. It's pretty funny. It's pretty
Do you
funny.
remember that game where you accidentally went Gadget ADC and I was supporting you with Muriel? We both took Victoria's Secret.
That was zooming.
Oh
I was
my
zooming.
God. It was like you were using tailwinds to go from like one tower to another.
I was Mach 10. We still got to see how fast you can actually get at some point. Vitality lenses. This item needs to be changed. It's such a good item, but poorly designed. Like, what it does is when you hit an ability, it increases your magical penetration for 2 seconds. But it has a delay of 2 seconds. So you hit them, and then you have to wait 2 seconds to use another ability to get the pen, which is just bad. If they just took the delay off of it, it would be so good. Because you could, like, Gideon combo, like, you could pull him in, and then you get the pen on your rock. Or, like, Bellica, you knock him up, and then you get the pen on the bomb. Because you have to wait, you would knock them up, and then you have to wait 2 seconds, and then throw the rock. Why? Just why?
Yeah, it's weird.
Just change it a little bit. The stats and all of that are great. Just take the delay off of it, and it would be a great item. And it would actually make flat pen like way better. Like you could go cultist into this, and you're basically doing true damage early game, and it would feel very strong. Just change it a little bit. Just please fix that. Multi-pot. Again, I don't buy. I just buy the refillable, man. Why does it exist? Yeah, why does it exist? I've never been like, man, let me slurp this pot and get some mana. Like I'm just like, I'm gonna back.
I'm hungry and thirsty.
Yeah, I don't know. Remove it from the game. I don't know. Do something to it. Wards. I think these actually need nerfs.
Yeah, how would you nerf? How and why would you?
I don't think it should see through walls, especially with the.
That's 100% right there. Yeah.
Especially with the change to ward slots now, like you're gonna get a ward slot on everybody, so everybody's gonna have these. Should not see through walls. I also think if it's in the bush, and yours is out of the bush, it should reveal the one in the bush.
Yes.
It shouldn't reveal players in the bush, but it should reveal other wards in the bush, in my opinion.
That's another holdover from old Paragon days, I think, because that's the way wards worked in Paragon with the Shadow Wells, the original like legacy map Paragon with the Shadow Wells. Is that wards inside the Shadow Well would not be. It created so many freaking problems.
Yeah, because there's a lot of problems now where like you actually just can't place wards like outside of bushes, because if you do, they instantly get dewarded by wards that are in bushes, and that's a really bad mechanic in my opinion. Especially the one that's like behind the prime pit. Like if you control the one behind the prime pit, they could never place a ward in the pit because it sees the whole pit from behind it, and it's in a bush, so theirs won't see yours. It's just very bad mechanic. I think that should be changed as well.
I'm going to do a little story time here and tell you about some old bullshit from Legacy Paragon. You could stand inside the Shadow Well and place a normal ward outside the Shadow Well, and you wouldn't be able to see that normal ward unless you were in the Shadow Well.
That is the... Did I also need a ward in the Shadow Well?
No, you did not also need a ward in the Shadow Well, but if you were a melee hero, you could stand in the Shadow Well, see that there was a ward right there, and wouldn't be able to do anything about it, because as soon as you exited the Shadow Well, it would become invisible.
That sounds like the dumbest thing I have ever heard in my life. I'm going to be honest. That is... Whoever designed that should be fired immediately.
That... I'm sure they are by now.
Well, I mean, everybody is, right? Witch's Shoes. This item is really good.
Yeah, it's a great item.
Does not get enough credit, in my opinion. I think people think Teardrop is better. I disagree. I think Witch's Shoes is better. Shoot me. Like, I don't... It scales off your power, so, like, it just always gets better. And it's instant burst, and, I mean, I like it. It gives cooldown. Fantastic item. I like to play Gideon. I like to play Bellica. I like cooldown.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think this is better than Spear's Teardrop now.
I think...
Like I said, Spear's Teardrop has gone down in my mind. It's still a great item, but I think Witch's Shoes is just better.
Yeah, I agree. I just... people disagree with me. Feel free. Like, I don't know. Keep building Teardrop. I'll pressure you. Like, you know...
It's not that huge of a difference anyway. Like I
it's not a big difference. I just like you get more cooldown. I like cooldown. I like to spam my abilities. Witch's Vial. This item is so like.
I think this is another one where it just costs too much for people to build, but it's not that bad of an item. Like it seems like an item I would want to build on Kwang. However, I never build it on Kwang because I'm just building other stuff that's more useful.
I've built it a couple times on Kwang where you go like Archon Gospel and this and like Vamp Sword and you like hyper stack Lifesteal. You still don't get that much value, especially since you have to auto attack first in order to use it. Just feels really weird. I think in practice it's good. I would rather it just have the flat 8% Omnivamp on it to begin with a different passive. Personally. Like, I think it should be changed. I don't even think it's, like, bad. I just think it just needs to be changed. Just go to a different passive and put the Omnivamp on it, and you could make it build off of, you know, one of the lifesteal items instead. I think that'd be a great change. But, I don't know. It's just... It's also 3,300 gold. It's super expensive for some reason. Like, just a weird item. What is that? What is this item called? This is the tier 2 scissors item. World Tree Breastplate. This is basically when you get hit by damage, you heal 10 health for 3 seconds on a 7-second cooldown. I'm pretty sure this passive also applies while you have scissors, so I think it's good. There's 20 magic defense too. 20 magic defense, 200 health, 1,000 gold, or 1,100 gold. Sorry, it's a good item.
Yeah,
just you get healing. Healing's never bad. I heard you like this item. What are your thoughts? Zimia's Toy?
Zimia's Toy. That was a terrible item. I don't know why anybody ever would build this.
In the buff tier for sure.
Yeah, it needs buffed. 100%. I mean, it only gives you physical defense and magical defense and a bunch of health and cooldown reduction and a bunch of AoE damage.
Yeah. Double on minions and stuff, you know.
Yeah. I don't know why anybody would ever want this item.
Yeah, I mean, you know.
It costs 3,300 gold. Who's going to build this for 3,300 gold?
The weird thing, I don't even think it should be nerfed. That's the weird thing. I don't even think it should be nerfed. Because I think the price is right. I think what you get is what it is. I think it's slow. I just think the tier 2 needs to be nerfed. That's it, really. I think it's good.
Yeah.
I just think
I can get on board with that. The mask or whatever the hell it's called.
Yeah.
The gold needs to go up on that.
Like if that was if that was 800 gold or something, I think the item would be fine because you wouldn't be able to get on the third wave and you'd have to stay a little longer and you could actually get behind off of it. But like right now, you literally just build that and you just don't lose lane. Whoever gets that first wins lane. And I think that's just bad design. Last item, I accidentally put all the pictures in here twice. Ignore me. Zinx.
A great item.
I think it's great. I think it's underbought, actually. I think it's underpurchased.
Really?
Yeah. Reason being?
Anytime I build any kind of tankiness, like if I'm Grux jungle, Kwang, Rampage, I build this on all of them.
Oh yeah, I do too. I build it all the time. But the amount of soul laners that I see not build this is criminal. Like most of my builds right now are like Zimia's Pendant, and then I go Haleen into this. Yeah. And that's my build. Or I go like high end if they're not going crit. That's only if they're not going crit. It's good.
It's especially good because it counters Wukong, and Wukong is such a problem right now.
It's just anti-heal, and the reflect is like whatever. It's mostly for the anti-heal, but it's double statted. You get both prots, you get HP. It's just good. I mean, great item.
Have you ever seen somebody kill themselves off of this?
Oh yeah. Especially during the final test when it was 20%. I mean, I just played Severog mid every game. I've been the second.
Oh god, that final test was it the final test or the test before that? Narbash would receive more damage during his ultimate than normal.
I think that was the final test.
Yeah, you would build Zinx on Narbash ult and then just watch everybody die from
no, it was the first test, sorry. It's like second test when he got put in.
Oh shit.
Good times.
Yeah, great item though.
Yeah, good item. Fantastic.
I'm surprised you don't see it built more. I see it built all the time.
Maybe it's just games don't go late enough or something, but I just don't see people building it. But all right, we got all these items to go again.
Okay. Do them again. Do them up.
All right, but that's pretty much it. Anything that you see where you're like, now that I see everything placed, maybe I should move it. Like, I don't think it's as good as these items, but it's equal to these other items.
I don't know, man. I think it looks pretty good to me. I think this is pretty darned good. I think I don't know.
I actually
that's good.
I'm gonna put Fred Flintstone up one. I'm gonna be honest.
Okay. Okay.
I think it has its uses. I just think you don't build full damage right now. I think the issue with it. But I think it's good.
The Fred Nose Flask, I would put it in changed, but
really, what would you change about it?
This is your tier list.
What would you change about it?
I think just any stealth should affect it.
I would agree with that. Actually, I would agree with that. I don't think the stats or anything needs to be. I just think it needs to be any stealth. I can agree with that. Actually, that makes sense. But yeah, I think that's pretty good for me.
Yeah, I mean, anybody watching, if you think that anything needs to be changed, let Soul Reaper know in the comments, like what you would change about these items to make them better or to nerf them.
Yeah, I'll yell at Mangoose to get the devs to do it.
They don't listen to me.
But yeah, thank you for helping me with this, Mangoose.
That was my pleasure. This was fun.
Yeah, I'll have the links to where you can find Mangoose in the description. Feel free to follow him. If you follow me, you probably already follow him, but if you don't, go his way. Very informational. A lot of good talks. Plays all the games, Pred, this game, Ethereal, all that kind of good stuff. Has good information, makes guides, stuff like that. The British should have a follow over there if you don't.
It would be if you just had my home address. That's where you find him.
My bad, I didn't mean to dox you like that.
I think people still wouldn't be able to find me.
Alright. That's it. I appreciate everybody watching.